There are two bills before the council right now to reform the Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act. One is the Rental Act introduced by Mayor Bowser, and one is the Common Sense TOPA Reform Bill that I introduced. I am just fresh from the hearing on these two bills in the Committee on Housing, of which I am now a member again, which is very exciting. There are 174 public witnesses who've signed up, and then I think 4 or 5 government witnesses that'll be on after those are all finished. And we've been having a really important dialogue around the future of TOPA, which has been law for 45 years. And it affords the right for tenants to come to the table when a building is being sold. So imagine you've been living in a building, you find out it's being sold, and now you're worried you have to move, or you're worried about who the management company is going to be, or you're worried about a program in your building continuing. With TOPA, you have the right to join with other tenants in the building and work with the person buying your building to solidify the rights that you want. The mayor's proposal would actually gut that and would say, maybe your building is income protected, and so that building is not eligible for TOPA. Or maybe you make too much. That building, that unit is not eligible for TOPA. It's creating a whole web of confusing variations on who's eligible for TOPA exemptions. I don't support that. What I do support, like my bill says, are common sense reforms that fix some things that haven't been working so well with a law that's been around as long as I've been alive. It's normal to want to update things from time to time, and frankly, this is a long time coming. The council commissioned a report. The Coalition for Nonprofit Housing and Economic Development delivered that to us last year. It made a number of very smart recommendations. I've adopted those, put them into legislation. Let's shorten the timeline. Let's make the process more clear. Let's create templates for tenants so they know the process to go through. Let's make sure that they're connected with community-based organizations that specialize in going through TOPA. Let's even have an option where certain developers are essentially pre-approved as TOPA developers, that we know that they understand the process and they're going to allow tenants' rights to be upheld. They can have a shorter process. All of these things seem appealing to me if we're trying to make TOPA more accessible and make sure that it is not the scapegoat for other challenges in our housing community. So this gives people a seat at the table. It preserves affordable housing. It has preserved affordable housing and housing options for tens of thousands of tenants since it existed. And the mayor's proposal would cut out 50,000 to 70,000 households that are currently eligible for TOPA. So I'm grateful for everyone who's come out to testify on this bill. It's incredibly important. Everyone along the spectrum, we've heard from tenants, housing providers, lawyers, advocates, we've heard from the title companies, property managers, developers, and I think everybody needs to be a part of this conversation. I'm glad that Chairman White is holding the hearing. This proposal is actually also sneaked into the mayor's budget, like just thrown in there, like it should just move like another piece of the budget. I don't support that. This is a standalone piece of legislation. It's her bill and then my bill, and now that they're going to have had a hearing, they can move through the regular committee process. I do not think we should just be tucking major pieces of legislation into the budget that it just doesn't, it's not the right level of transparency and process for something this significant. But I'm really glad we've got the hearing today, and I look forward to working with my colleagues in the Housing Committee to move my bill forward for sure, and maybe some parts of the mayor's bill, but not those exemptions. Can't support those.